what are we doing today? I think I forgot. Guys, I found the needle though. Do you want to know where it was? In there. Found it though. I just dumped the entire thing out and said, I gotta find it. I gotta find it. So there we go. Okay, so what we're doing today, I remember, it's the straight stitch. So I know this is a super, super boring one, okay? Super boring. But straight stitches are really great because they're really quite effective. So what we're going to do is all 6 strands on these tiny little flowers right here. And then over here, we're going to end up doing some other things with some straight stitches over here. But obviously, do the flowers first, and we'll do this a different day, okay? So there's really nothing that you can do over there. I'm just saying that's kind of what the plan was. But we're going to add something to it, so don't do it now. We're going to do these flowers right here. And there's going to be regular straight stitch flowers, okay? You might be thinking, Tori, that's really boring. But I promise you, it's not. And they're really, really cute. And they look really nice. Right, we also had a couple questions about the hoop tension. And you see me kind of putting my hoop on and then kind of doing this around the edges. That's not to make it drum tight. It's just to make it so there's no, do you see how it's like a bit crinkly? It's just to like get some of those crinkles out and make it so that it fits in the hoop nicely. Okay, I'm not actually pulling it like super tight. I just want it to be good so that when I put my stitches on, they'll lay nicely. Okay, so I'm not actually doing it like super tight. I'm just pulling it so that the fabric lays nice. Okay. All right. So pick the color that you would like. I just do these 2 sides. I only do a couple because it's really quite an easy day today. Like I said, Friday we're going to do a bit more. And if I still need to do your name, can you please let me know? My Instagram says that I've got all of them done. But then sometimes when I refresh it, I'll get one from like 2 weeks ago and it will be like, hi, can I have my name, please? So I've been trying to just send them, even if I've sent them via email or whatever. I've just sent them again just to make sure that you have them, you know? I'm really drawn to this color right now. So I might do like an every other one situation or something. I'll do all 6 strands. And I really like straight stitch for these kind of flowers because I feel like you can put 1 or 2 stitches right next to each other and it gives a nice kind of fluffy, like poofy look without being too like huge, you know? So we're just doing some nice straight stitches, maybe 2 right next to each other. Like, isn't that gorgeous? Let's just zoom in a bit there. And you're going to do that for all of the 5 petals. You can add more petals if you want to. Like I said, it's kind of like a not like super wow day. But we need days like this because it allows people to catch up. There are a lot of flowers, so you're going to end up doing a lot of little straight stitches. Obviously, you could do like a lazy daisy here instead. But we're going to do that in a different part. So it just depends on what you like better. we're going to put something in the middle. We're going to put some French knots in the middle. So you do not have to worry about having them touch in the center. It's just some nice, like, therapeutic stitching. Yeah. Just a nice little, I might do like every other one though, because that would be cute to have two different colors going at the same time, you know? So it'd be like, that might be quite nice. I knew there was a knot there. I knew it. I felt it on the back and I thought, nah, can't be. And there was. Some people like to do 12 strands at once for these kinds of ones. Some people like to do more like just the two, 6-strand straight stitches. And some people don't like doing this either, like, period. They're like, no, I don't like that. So it just depends on, I always say it a lot, but it depends on what you like. Isn't it a nice color? I actually don't have a surprise. I don't have a color number for this one, but it's like a pinkish. Can you see? Like a pinkish red. I get my thread knotted often. Any suggestions of a video to watch to help me learn to avoid? I would just use a shorter thread. So check how long your thread is. I would also check if when you're pulling it through, when you're pulling it through, is it knotting? 12 seems like easy to knot. It's not too bad actually. It's more just thick to go through your fabric. So that's the only reason why I don't like doing it. Because if you think of, I will, is it Cara or Cara? I don't know. But I will get back to you in just a minute, I promise. But when you've got 12, it makes one big fat hole. So think of it like that much or that much to get through. Do you know what I mean? Because not only are you getting the 12 strands through your needle, here it'll be 24. Yeah? Because you're doing a little knot like this, or a tail. So even if you knot it at the end and do kind of like that, even if you do it like that, so that you've always got 12, you still have quite a bit to get through. Yeah? So I tend to like to do 6 and then just do another stitch on top of it or right next to it. So let's see if I can get really close. You can see that these ones, they're actually not on top of each other. They're right next to each other. So they give the outside of the petal a little bit more of a diameter. And then the inside is like I go through the same hole. And that way it gives like a point to the middle. But if you don't do it that way, that's okay too. You could just do 2 on top of each other. And it makes it a bit more like fluffy and puffy like this one. The other thing is you can separate your strands before you get started, and that will make it a bit more like this as well, meaning it will make it like they all kind of blend together instead of having 2 separate ones like that. Does that make sense? I hope so. For knots, the biggest thing I can say is when you use a shorter thread, but if you're already using quite a short thread, which I find it really annoying to use a short thread, if I'm honest, but that's just because I don't like having to go back and add more thread like all the time, having to be like, right, let's let's get some more. Okay, let's get some more. Let's get some more. The other thing, so if you're already using a short thread, the other thing is to, yes, drop your needle and detangle it, okay? So if you're holding your thread like this, so hold your hoop up in the air and hold your thread right next to it. If your thread is going like this, especially after French knots or, what's it called? Satin stitch, where you're doing the same thing over and over and over, your thread is going to start to twist together like this, okay? So when you pull it through again, I know it's like really blurry and you can't see very well, but I'm trying to get it twisted. I'm trying to twist it and hold it up at the same time. But if you're getting that, okay, when you go to pull it through, it's going to do a knot. So what you need to do is hold your thread up like this, and your needle will twist and twist and twist. You can see I'm in my pajamas already. I've got my sweatpants on, and I've got my sweatshirt on. So we are not fancy here, okay? We're not. Come as you are, you are accepted as you are. All right? That's the long and short of it. Okay, so we've got our 2 stitches. Well, 4 stitches, but 2 petals. That's really the best way I can kind of tell you to do it. The other way is to learn the knots. So if you saw, I had kind of a loop with like a knot in the middle and then kind of one each way. Normally you can put your finger on the knot and pull up, and then one side will kind of slide out. So that's always a lot easier. It's like the easiest knot to untangle, really. You are welcome. And I'm really sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I really am. I remember one of my friends, she had a friend when we were growing up, and she would talk about this friend all the time, and I called her Anna, and I was like, oh, how's Anna? And she was like, it's not Anna, it's Anna. And I was like, oh, okay. And now obviously we've got Frozen, and my Ellis loves Frozen. So Ellis is my little girl, if you don't know. If you're new to the Stitchalongs, yeah, so now we are all about Anna. I don't think I've said Anna in a really long time. It would be really pretty with variegated thread, actually. You are totally right. You always have the best ideas, I swear. I'm thinking I'll do one every other one, so I'll do one down here. And then maybe on this side, I'll switch it up and do the middles, That might be quite nice. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to keep going on and on and on if there's no questions, or if we don't have anything to talk about. The other thing is, make sure that if you are skipping them, or even if you aren't skipping them, I would probably cut each one, okay? And do each one separate. Only because you're going to get a big, long piece of thread between each flower. So the one in the middle should be about there. Obviously, I traced that wrong. Yeah, should be about there. So you're going to have like quite a long piece of thread in between each one. The dots are going to be French knots later. That's the idea. Okay. We're going to do a really pretty kind of, it's called oh my God, what is it called? It's called a looped running stitch. That's what it is. And so we're going to do a running stitch around the outside, and then you can do little loops. And so it's going to be flat here, and this is going to have little loops like that. It's going to look like this. Okay, and this side is going to be flat. How pretty is that going to be? Isn't that going to be nice? So imagine that like all the way around. Yeah, a bump, 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 bump all the way around. Okay, and then the middle flower. Yeah, we've got some flowers around the outside, and then yeah, it's gonna look really pretty. I really like this little panel here. So that's it. That's all I got for you today. Because you have so many, we're using quite a simple stitch. It's going to be very hardy, meaning this is a book, remember? Yeah? So because it's a book, we just want to... Oh, Gareth next door said just to say, keep an eye out because we've had 2 parakeets on our bird feeders. How fun is that? I just got a text from my next door neighbor. You know what? Next door neighbors, like, if you've got good ones, you're so lucky. We have good ones. I feel like we're so lucky. We really don't have bad ones, except the lady across and over one who ran into the back of our car and then tried to blame it on us. Don't like her. Yeah, she can, but Gareth is really nice, and his wife Lisa is really nice, and their daughters are really nice, so we love them. But the other lady can do one. All right, that's all I've got. Sorry, guys. I will speak with you tomorrow. And yeah, don't forget to send me a picture for your £15 credit. I actually haven't sent the person the gift card yet because turns out I have to make a special one with a special code. So I made it the other day and I was like, yeah, this is fine. But it was invalid because apparently your code has to have 8 letters or numbers. I didn't know that. So that's my fault. So I need to alert the person that their code is ready. But you have until Sunday. I'll give another £15 credit out on Sunday. So send me a picture of what you're working on, either the free bouquet one or the book one. Send me a progress picture and you'll be entered to win. All right. Speak with you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.